What's going on, guys? It's Kai here with a Stamina Warden PvP build for the Morrowind patch. Now this build is good for two reasons. One, it's got really nice mobility, and two, it's got really high burst damage potential. It's good for CP, non-CP, and also battlegrounds, so let's have a look at the skills. So the first skill we're running on the sword and board bar is Invasion, which is going to be your gap closer and your stun. The next skill is from Animal Companions Warden skill tree, which is Subterranean Assault. What this does is, after you cast it and then after 3 seconds, wherever you're facing, these beetles come up and do crazy poison damage, so this skill is going to be part of a burst combo. The next skill is also from Animal Companions, which is Cutting Dive. This is a stamina ranged spammable. We're not really going to be using it as a spammable, because we're just going to be using it in part of the burst combo, since it takes a few seconds or a second or so for it to actually hit the enemy from when you cast it. So yeah, we can use that in the burst combo. But if there's those pesky Nightblades dodge rolling all around, you can just fucking hit him with some of these and you'll be screwed. The next skill is Ransack. See, if you're running with any Magic DDs in your group, then you probably want to take Puncture, because it decreases their spell resistance, the enemy's spell resistance. But since I don't run with anyone who's Magicka, I don't run Puncture. And you get more physical resistance if you run this. We're also running Vigor on the front bar, which is nice because it means you can keep Vigor up like all the time. So yeah, that's great. And then as the ultimate, we're using Mr. Bear. Guardian Savagery, which is the physical damage morph. You do have to double slot this, but I'll show you some other options for ultimates to run with this build. On the back bar, we're using two-hander, and the first skill is Soothing Spores. Now this is quite an interesting skill because it's, as far as I know, I'm pretty sure it's the first stamina and weapon damage, etc. It's a heal that scales off stamina. Instant heal that scales off stamina, weapon damage, etc. Other than Rally, but Rally's a bit different because you've got to let it build up and then you can pop it, whereas this is just boom, instant heal for you or your allies. And it's a pretty nice range and it's in a cone, so it's quite good. And the next skill is Shuffle, pretty self-explanatory, 15% dodge chance. Yep. And next is Green Lotus, which is from the Green Balance of the Warden, which is nice because it's a kind of like a passive heal. If you keep it up, all your light and heavy attacks are going to heal you back, which is nice. It also gives you Major Savagery, which is really nice with the last skill on this bar, which I'll get into in a couple of seconds. Next skill is Bird of Prey, which is really nice for the mobility of the build, and also gives you Minor Berserk for 10 seconds. So you get movement speed and more damage for 10 seconds. I mean, it's great and it looks fucking badass. And then the next skill is Bull Netch. This is nice because it's a free cast and you get stamina back, so you're just getting stamina recovery for nothing. And when it's active, you get Major Brutality, so we don't have to run Rally. And the nice thing about this is that these two skills give you Major Savagery and Major Brutality, so you don't have to run weapon damage pots. You can run immovable pots or tri-pots or something like that. And then there's the double slotted bear. So in terms of gear, we are running some proc sets. I know, hate me. But Tremor Scale did get nerfed this patch. I'm pretty sure they halved the duration of the movement speed reduction. So you can feel like a bit less of a bell end when you're running this, but yeah. You want to run medium. You want to run 7 medium on this build, so 2 medium Tremor Scale. But you want them in Impen, but I don't have that because I'm on the PTS, so that's what you want. Then you run Bone Pirate, which is a really nice PvP set because it allows you to get pretty high max stamina and stamina recovery at the same time. As you see, it gives 2k stam and 150 stamina recovery if you have a drink active, so you want to be running Dubious Cameron Throne Drink, which gives you stam recovery, max stam, max health, so that just works great. Then you want to be running Viper, Now I don't have the best quality stuff, so obviously you'll be hitting a little bit harder if you got purple or even gold jewelry. And I have weapon damage enchants on them. I'm no professional, I don't know what's best to run, but I just have weapon damage on them because, yeah, I like it. And then Sword of the Viper and Shield of the Viper. This wants to be in pen, but I don't have one, so yeah. And then a sharpened one-hander. There is a named weapon that drops from, I'm not sure which boss, but one of the bosses in Fungal Grotto drops a dagger called Knife of Shadows, which is sharpened. I think it might be that boss that chains you down in Fungal Grotto 2, but I might be wrong, so correct me if I'm wrong on that. In terms of enchants, on the gear you want max health on the helmet, chest and guards, so it brings your max health to a pretty reasonable level for PvP. And you want increased weapon damage on your sword, and then you want to be running a Maelstrom two-hander on your back bar. I'm running defending since we don't really run any damage skills on the two-hander bar, so you don't really need to run sharpened. But you could do if you wanted to, if you're a lucky bastard. And then we're using, I've just got this as a placeholder here, but you're going to want to run a poison on this, because even if you run a poison, you still get the weapon damage bonus from the enchantment of the Maelstrom weapons. So yeah, that's about that. So I'm just going to show you the combo first. Now you want to hit Subterranean Assault, then Cliff Racer, or Cutting Dive, whatever it's called, and then you want to use your Gap Closer. And what's going to happen is this, and this are all going to hopefully hit in like 1 second of each other. Now sometimes Tremor Scale won't proc, so it might not do as much damage, but I'm sure if you use it again, it's probably going to proc this time. And then you've got your bear, which is probably going to start like beating on them as well, so I'm just going to show you. And I put that up a bit. I wasn't in range. Let's just wait for it to heal up. There you go. So as you can see, it does quite a lot of damage in a really short space of time. Now that's just the burst combo, that's how you want to start a fight. While you're in a fight, you just want to kind of just repeat the same combo while keeping your buffs up back here. But the nice thing about the Warden is that you can use the buff trackers that come with Morrowind, but even just looking at your character, you can see your weapon glows when you've got certain skills. Yeah, it's quite easy to see what buffs up and not. So that's one way to run the build. Now I'm going to come out of combat so I can swap some skills around. I'd say this is the easier way that I just did to run the build. Now you can also run Crit Rush on the back bar, which allows you to put Reverberating Bash on the front bar. Now Reverberating Bash is a stun, so this will become your stun, and also inflicts the enemy with Major Defile, reducing their healing received by 30%. Now they changed the champion points this patch. Obviously there's like diminishing returns, so the more points you put into a tree, the less you get out of it. And one thing that they did is where is it? Befoul, this skill, this one here. If you put a lot of points into this, let me just put, I'll take it out of Shadow Warden. So if I put 50 points into Befouled, the healing received reduction goes from 30% to 42%. So you can really, reduce someone's healing by quite a lot. But yeah, the reason that I find this build a little bit harder this setup to run is because you'll have to use this, then bar swap, crit rush, bar swap again, and then puncture. So it's kind of a little bit more difficult to run, but it's an option because that healing receive reduction is really nice, and it's a stun. So yeah, and then while you're doing all this, these combos and stuff, you know, you're doing all the combos, maybe a heavy attack here and there. You want to be making sure you're popping your bear ultimate, because it does a fuckload of damage, believe me. It does a lot of damage. You can control the bear too. They changed it in Morrowind where if you use a heavy attack on an enemy, your pet will change its target and it will fight them. And she's throwing my balls at me. So yeah, if you do a heavy attack, your bear is going to target whoever you heavy attack. So it's a lot easier to control the bear. So this is why I like running the bear now, because it does do a lot of damage, and it's a lot easier to control. And also, if you're getting hit by someone, if they're not tab targeting you, chances are they're going to be hitting your bear like twice as much as they're going to hit you. So just like those magic assaults who run fucking Twilight and Scamp in PvP and you can't fucking hit them, it's kind of like that. So it's pretty nice. So I'm just going to go through the CP here. Now with Morrowind there is something in the CP system called what Wola referred to it as jump points. So the best way to explain it is, if you look at Mooncalf here, I have 75 points in, and it's given me 14% stamina recovery. Now if I had 74 in, even though it says I am gaining 13.92%, it would round it down to 13%, so I would be wasting like 9 or 10 CP points for nothing. I would gain absolutely nothing. So what we want to do is we want to make sure that it's the most efficient possible. So in tenacity, you can see that it's 13.01, whereas if I was down only 63 CP in there, it would round it down to 12%. So rather than getting 12%, I spend 1 point and get 13%. So it's just the most efficient way to do it. So my CP aren't perfect, but I'm going to go through them anyway, just to give you a bit of an idea. You can kind of change it around to what best suits your playstyle if you want to fight against shield spammers or people who do dot damage or whatever. But mine's kind of just all around, like general. So 4 Siphoner, 11 Warlord, 16 Sprinter, 6 Bashing Focus, 75 Mooncalf, 64 Tenacity, 4 Healthy, 11 Tumbling, 8 Shade, 11 Shadow Ward, 27 Blessed, 19 Physical Weapon Expert, 5 Shattering Blows, 37 Master at Arms, 28 Precise Strikes, 51 Piercing, 43 Mighty, 10 Medium Armor Focus, 13 Ironclad, 10 Spell Shield, 46 Resistant, 9 Thick Skinned, 49 Hardy, 49 Elemental Defender, 9 Expert Defender, 15 Quick Recovery. And that's it. Yeah, you can kind of experiment with your CP, see what works best for you. Now if you're wondering if you don't like the whole thing with the bear, like you have to double slot it so you lose out on, you know, some nice ultimates, you could run the one-handed shield ultimate on one bar with Dawnbreaker Smiting on the other bar. Now this is nice because Dawnbreaker Smiting is a nice stun, so it can be like a really nice offensive ultimate, and then you can have a more defensive ultimate here. But I like running the bear because, you know, the Warden's new and everyone likes bears, so. But yeah, I think that's about it. Let me just put the invasion back on here, and there on there. So yeah, it's a pretty nice build. It's not going to be the best build in the world, but if you're just looking for a fun little build to run, then you could check this one out. And since proc sets no longer crit anymore, since Homestead patch, it doesn't feel as cheesy to run this build. It is pretty cheesy, but it's not like other builds, like when the proc sets were in, you know, full swing and you could just fucking light attack someone, insta kill them or whatever. This build does require a little bit more skill because you have to make sure to time the bursts properly, like the skills, to get them all at the same time. And when people are moving around all the time, that's kind of a little bit trickier to get everything to line up properly. So it does take a little bit of skill, but it's not too bad. So yeah, that's about it. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. See ya. Oh, and by the way, guys, I'm running the Serpent Mundus Stone, which gives you stam recovery, and ideally you'd want to be stage 4 vampirism for more stamina recovery, but unfortunately I don't have that at the moment. And also I'm running Orc because I like the mobility of Swift Warrior, which increases your movement speed by 10%, reduces the cost of sprint, and you also get 6% max health and stamina, which is really nice. You could also run Imperial, Khajiit, Wood Elf, so there's all kinds of different races that you can run with this build, but I like running Orc on it for the mobility. So yeah, cheers for watching.